The 23rd edition of the FIFA World Cup is officially underway. As you know, 3 countries are hosting. 16 cities will be visited, including 2 in Canada, Vancouver and Toronto. I bet you guessed that by the traffic. And it's in the latter that Canada will begin their tournament versus Bosnia-Herzegovina tomorrow inside Toronto Stadium. Welcome to Bet365 for the win. Andy Petrillo alongside Gareth Wheeler. Today, Canada's head coach Jesse Marsch addressed the media just about an hour ago. He had a lot to say, but of course, everyone waiting with bated breath to get the update on Moise Bombito and Ismail Kone. And here's what he had to say.
Ismail's was a hilarious response in the Canadian media to almost nothing. He just felt a little sick, and so we sent him home because we were doing nothing on the day, and it was like, you know, a 5-star red alert. Ismail trained today. He's totally fine. He's ready to go. We did an MRI with him yesterday. It showed very positive signs that he's healing incredibly well, almost completely. So, you know, we're getting ready to ramp things up. He will not be available for tomorrow, but I think that he's showing, like he always has, a real good ability to recover from muscle injuries. So I think that having his private physio here has been very helpful, and the concentration on his body's needs every day. And so we're really hopeful that over the next days and week that we can accelerate things and give him a chance to contribute here soon. And Moise has made incredible progress over the past month and certainly over the last week. And it made the decision relatively easy that we should keep him in the group, and he'll be ready if called upon tomorrow.
So it is official. That is Canada's roster. We did know that they had until 3 p.m. Eastern today to make any final changes. Moise Bombito making that roster. And, of course, Jesse Marsch saying he's available for tomorrow. What we don't know, of course, is will he get the start or not. But let's head on over to Toronto Stadium, powered by General Mills. Christian Jack on location there. And, KJ, I do want to start with the Moise Bombito news because there was some reports that maybe he would be out. Jesse Marsch wanted to slow everything down and say, hold on a second. So he is in. What do you make of that?
Well, it is the biggest news of the day. You know, it's been a tale of different Fridays, as I said before. You know, ultimately, 2 weeks ago today, it was in Charlotte where we were announced that Moise Bombito was in the World Cup roster. And at that moment in that city, Moise Bombito told me that he was going to be 100% ready for the opening game. 1 week ago today, we were in Montreal, and Moise Bombito was coming off playing in a monsoon for 30 minutes in Edmonton, where he limped off and it didn't look good. And following that report the next day, many reports out there said that he was out of the World Cup. Jesse Marsch then landed here in Toronto on Sunday and just quashed those rumors very quickly to give him an opportunity. But many people thought it was slim at best. But now we're hearing that Moise Bombito is speedily recovering a lot quicker than many people expected. And when Jesse Marsch says that player is available to play as early as potentially on Friday, that's a massive story. It's a massive story. Look, do I expect him to play? I don't. But he did go on to give a timeline when he's not really given a lot of timelines before, and say that he could be available as early as playing from the start next week. So that would be the Qatar game. So, look, we all know that this is a position where Moise Bombito is, I think, significantly better than everybody else who can play in that position. And even if it's not Bosnia-Herzegovina and it's not Qatar, maybe it's Switzerland, maybe it's not. But if this team's going to go somewhere, the fact that Moise Bombito might be able to play in a big knockout match, I think is truly significant now.
Yeah, KJ, it's Wheels. I'm shocked by this, to be honest with you. One, this was a very serious injury that he experienced, KJ. Back in October, a double leg break. That takes a long time to recover from. And based on the evidence of seeing him play in Edmonton, it was a battle. It was 30 minutes of pain. And the image of him limping off, even as of training yesterday, significant wrapping around his leg, I think there was considerable thought that maybe he shouldn't be even trying at this point for the betterment of the player. So could this just be a product of having a 26-man squad, KJ, and the fact that he's staying loyal to a very important player within the room, and maybe perhaps now there's a little bit of gamesmanship at play? Because I mean, he's played 30 minutes of football since October. I'm just trying to be realistic here, KJ.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't think there's a loyalty. I think Jesse Marsch understands the value of the World Cup, that he can't carry players. I do agree with you in a sense that, look, if this was the previous roster restrictions of 23 players, we wouldn't be having this conversation. He's essentially right now a fifth centre-back, and I think we'll go into the game tomorrow. We'll see if he's needed. But look, it was a leg fracture, but it also was October. And Jesse Marsch has compared a little bit of that to the recovery of Tajon Buchanan, who came back after 4 months. You know, we are now in June, and this happened in October last year. We had Nice say that he expected him to play in March, and he never did. We had them say he expected him to play in April, he never did. And then they said they expected him to play in May, and he never did either. So, you know, this has gone on a little bit too long now. He should have recovered at that moment. Of course, the Edmonton scenario was not ideal for him to get the knock there and get the setback. And obviously there's been reports out for a reason from legitimate sources that have said in the past, not from us, but have said that they felt that people were telling them that he was out of the World Cup for protection himself. So look, it's a watch this space moment for me. It's a scenario based moment. And if Canada can find a way, let's just say to cruise, it's a strong word, but cruise into the next couple of games to get through and get into the knockout stages, I don't think we'll be talking about Moise Bombito for a couple of weeks.
No, and if he doesn't start tomorrow, I mean, that is a big loss, and something that's already been confirmed, Christian, of course, is Alphonso Davies, the captain. We already know he's not going to be in that first game, but you've been watching him at training. A lot of people keeping their fingers crossed that he can be available at some point during the group stage, if not at least, you know, if and when Canada makes it to the knockout stage. How is he progressing?
Well, I mean, whenever I've watched trading this week, it's always been side sessions. Canada come out together at a certain time. They kick the ball around. You know, this is the media. You get about 15 minutes to record all your B-roll and all your news stories that you need to do. A lot of those 15 minutes have happened without Alphonso Davies at all. In fact, one day he came out legitimately the moment the 15 minutes closed the session. We all packed up and he walked out. That was on Wednesday of this week. So Tuesday we saw him, Monday we saw him, he trained again today. There's not any ball work right now, there's no physical contact with his teammates. They have to huddle at the start of the sessions, and a lot of the time he's not involved in that. He has his own personal trainer here from Bayern, and I think that's significant. This is a club decision that is obviously supported by the International Federation as well. So there's a lot to get into on this. One thing, Gareth, that I picked up on in the presser was that in a time when he hasn't given timelines, Jesse Marsch, he said, I just wish that the tournament would start 2 weeks later so we could get more out of him. So for me, that hints, I don't know what you think, but that hints for us again to maybe be on the Moise Bombito timeline. But I don't think we'll be expecting to see Alphonso Davies against Qatar either.
That was my main headline coming out of the press conference, to be honest with you. I think it was the most truthful thing that was said, that the team might be ready in terms of spirit. The players who are fit are ready to hit the ground running. I just don't think that simply pertains just to Alphonso Davies or just to Moise Bombito. You can make the argument that Ali Ahmed, Jacob Schaffelberg, Alfie Jones, Richie Larea, Promise David could all probably use a couple more weeks of preparation, making sure that they had match fitness. It's not just about one game here. World Cups are difficult. They're going to fly across the country, play 2 games in Vancouver after this. A performance based upon adrenaline, based upon 4 years of the waiting coming tomorrow. I mean, it's a big deal, but there's 2 more group games after that that could be incredibly important. And that's my biggest concern right now, KJ, is just the status of all of these players. Whether it's Alphonso Davies. By the way, I think Canada Soccer has done a really nice job making this less of a headline than it could be. Well, any other nation, when they're missing their top player going to a World Cup, but he's still in and about the team, it's like the main headline all the time. Alphonso Davies has been away for so long right now, I think people kind of forget a little bit how important he could be to this group. But it's all the other players, KJ, like the 2-week element, that's what sticks out to me. Are they ready to go tomorrow? There's expectations around this team. It's a home World Cup, KJ. They should be expected to beat sides like Bosnia. But based upon circumstances, I think most people are in wait-and-see mode right now.
Yeah, I understand that. I still think they should be expected to beat Bosnia-Herzegovina as well. I understand as a nation why we're hesitant to go that far. And if for anybody from that great country and what they've been through wants to have a go at me for it and say we're underestimating them, let them. But we're allowed to. This is a home World Cup. Okay, we watched Mexico destroy South Africa today. You know what? That happens a lot. You go back throughout the entire, just this century alone. South Korea, early goal in 2002, go on and win that game comfortably. Germany, the same in 06. South Africa got their moment in 2010. Score goals and have their moment. Russia, completely written off, was a national disgrace before 2018, and they started on fire and scored all those goals in the opening game as well. So I think as a nation, we're allowed to ask ourselves, can they go out there and win this game without disrespecting their opponent? I understand what you're saying about the injuries, but internally there doesn't seem to be any discussion about that. Ali Ahmed, Jacob Schaffelberg have been back in full training for 3 days. Does that mean they can physically play 90 minutes? No. Does that mean they're available? Yes. So I think it's a build-up, slow process for some of these players. But the storyline around Canada in the last 18 months has been their ability to strengthen the talent pool. And now you look at players like Nico Segur, who's probably not going to start here tomorrow. He's played more minutes than Alistair Johnston for Canada over the last 15 months. The same you could say about someone like Nathan Saliba and Ali Ahmed and other players, Promise David. Now, these players weren't even considered that much 15 months ago. So I think that he has the ability now to look down his team and go, I've got players that can make a difference here. And I think the 11 speaks for itself, guys. I don't know what you think, but it looks like it's a pretty obvious 11 at this point. And I think with that 11, Canada in their seeking moments, as you do in the World Cup, I think there's enough players on that pitch for them to win this match.
The other conversation, I think that the one thing that this country collectively has is belief in these players. I mean, a lot of them have become household names. Their demeanor, their style of play won over so many fans and just casual onlookers, KJ, at Copa America. I don't think there's any question there. What about style of play? Because lots of football people that I talk to still question what the style of play here is from Jesse Marsch and where this team is at right now heading into a World Cup. They're a very difficult team to beat. There's no doubt about that, despite making an insane amount of changes across their back line. They don't concede a lot of goals either, but it's in attack, in scoring goals. In their last 8 games, they've just won 2 of them, and they've stepped up in competition. So I just wonder, what is going to be Canada's style of play, and is it good enough to be effective here in Group B?
Well, I thought that was quite interesting to watch last week against a weakened Ireland on Friday, and the way Canada played in that first 45 minutes with the ball. I thought there was a lot to like. It's probably the best we've seen them play since Honduras at home last year in Vancouver when we were there for the Gold Cup. But that's important because, yes, I know Ireland were a weaker side, but I think both the Bosnians and Qatar next week are going to let Canada have possession. And to answer your question, what has been the major struggle for this team, and they've openly admitted it, and they've worked in training this week about it, is breaking down teams when they have possession. You know, this is the biggest problem that they've got throughout their tenure here is, okay, a lot of their goals have come in fast transitions, win the ball back, and then score goals very quickly. And I think with this style of play, with these two opponents, are they going to be able to break these teams down and find that moment? That's where players like Buchanan, that's where players like Kone, who can be difference makers and can feed the likes of Jonathan David and Kyle Larin, become so pivotal and so crucial in this. And it is a question for Jesse Marsch. For all of the great things that he's done with this program, and there's a long list of them, it is now his job as the head coach to do that. And he's been working a lot with them in training, but it's his job now to be able to not necessarily win the press conference, not necessarily win the battles of the PR. It's his job now, as he said, to get the best out of those attacking players to try and score goals. And if they can do that here, I think it sets them up nicely for the second game with that kind of spirit that they've already got goals. But if they don't do it here, this will be another ongoing conversation for another 6 days until they get to a must-win game, and it will be a must-win if they don't do it here tomorrow against Qatar next week in Vancouver.
Yeah, I want to continue with these hard conversations here, KJ, because come tomorrow, everyone's going to be feeling great. We're going to be feeling inspired, and that is the moment to do so. But this is where we need to get some stuff off of our chest here. And you talk about the attack. So are you curious to see how Jesse Marsch is going to deploy Jonathan David as well? Like, is he going to get him further up that pitch to be a little bit more of that 9? Do you think he's still going to stick to Kyle Larin being that? Because that's been a question as well for a lot of fans. When are we going to see more of a prolific Jonathan David score? So what kind of position can he get in to do that? And then on the flanks, how important are Tajon Buchanan and Liam Miller with that type of speed and that service?
I think crucial. again, they're not getting the service, they being Kyle Larin and Jonathan David, that they need. Strikers score goals before they happen. And when you see them, when I was sitting pitch side in Montreal, you can see them getting into spaces and you can see them getting ready and they're thinking this ball's going in the net and they don't arrive. That is not a direct criticism of those two players, Liam Miller and Tajon Buchanan. They could win a World Cup game for Canada here on Friday. But the facts are the facts. They're not getting the ball in quick enough a lot of the time. They're spending an extra time to get the touches. They're not being crisp. And David and Larin are sometimes being left out to dry. Now, if they can clean that up, which is a big emphasis this week in training, if they can get that ball in and they can be quicker, or if Kone can play that ball in quicker, they will get their moments. They will get their opportunities, and one of them will score. That's the way that these players are. I'm a firm believer of that. They can show it at the club level, and they've shown it time and time again for Canada. That's why I believe those two are going to get picked to play up front. I don't quite understand this conversation about where to play Jonathan David. The facts are the facts again. I'll say it again. He's played in this position every game for every game he's been available. He's a 10 for Jesse Marsh, and he plays there. Jesse Marsh has said repeatedly in interviews he wants him to get more touches. He grows into the game. He feels it. The key now is for him, when he gets in those spaces, is to be fed the ball. I think he will get those opportunities. It's clear he is not at the peak of his powers. It's clear that he's not the Jonathan David that we saw at club form 12 months, 18 months ago. But we also know how clever he is and how smart he is and how quickly he can turn that on again.
Yeah, I just drives me a little bit crazy when I see him deeper than Richie Larea at times in track. I want him up closer to the... That's the sentiment, KJ. People know what he can do when he's in and around the area, making those great runs in behind the back line. I think that's what people want to see more. We got to talk about what tomorrow's game means. KJ and all three of us together have done World Cups before together, and there's mathematical equations that allow teams to move forward in the competition. That's why tomorrow, and the first game for a lot of teams in this tournament, it's a not-lose scenario. But if you dream big and think about what this might mean, a Canada win in their opening match on home soil, don't you feel like it's almost a must-win? Like, mathematically it isn't, but for all the vibes and what it can do for this group and for what history in the country, it just seems more significant than being pragmatic and going out and picking up a point.
How are you feeling, KJ?
I completely agree with that too. Look, I think if we're sitting here tomorrow night talking about a draw or a loss, I think it'll be considered as a national missed opportunity for the sport in this country. It just feels ready. And I've been here many times, as have you two been here, and we're so blessed to be here. And I said it this week, and I'll say it again. We've been on the verge of many what-if moments over the years for Canadian soccer. Some people are blessed enough to go back to 1986 and Tony Waiters and the boys, right? Went to the World Cup. What if they scored? What if they went to their moment? They got their moment. They didn't get it, right? We can go all the way through to what happened past that, the Atiba Hutchinson goal against the US that was disgracefully taken away from this nation. What if the 8 goals against Honduras when we conceded that? What if the 8 goals didn't happen and this country became a laughingstock around football again, right? What if in the Gold Cup they were able to pull through in 2019 instead of conceding 3 goals in the second half against Haiti? A semi-final, Hector Herrera, 99th minute winner, 23, a final, the Judah Winner Trophy, and they lose and don't play well against the US. Those what-if moments. It's why I did my essay today on if. Forget what if. Just think about if. And that's, for me, is what's so important about this moment. Yes, we can talk about the grand scheme of a point. Oh, they're in good position. They want to go through the group. It's more than just that. This is a home World Cup. We saw Mexico win again today. They became the 16th home nation to win their first game in a World Cup out of 23. That's a massive percentage, and that's the side of the number that Canada are on right now. 16 out of 23. Only Qatar, and I was there when they were poor, and that's not a good reference point. The only team ever to host a World Cup and lose their first game. So yes, of course, it feels big, and it feels a moment to go out there and grab the 3 points to help them get through the group. But more than that, captivate a country and then just make it if now instead of what if.
I just want to run through a brick wall now.
I'm just going to skip forward to when, KJ. When. I'm going to one-up your riff and deliver you a when. How's that?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go. You know, we're talking here, and we're all so blessed, you know? I mean, we're talking on a Thursday night. The three of us have worked together for so many years, and we've done so many games. This is the biggest game. It is the biggest game ever for this men's program. We've worked on Women's World Cups. I covered it. I went all across the country and saw what that did in 2015 for that country and that sport. And now we've got a professional league, and how marvelous it was. But we can't lose sight of this. We can't downplay it anymore. It's the biggest game ever for this team and for this men's program, and it's happening right here. It's the moment where opportunity, and the opportunity is there because we got a home World Cup, has met preparation. And the preparation is that it's the greatest team this country has ever produced. At the same time, we've produced the best team ever, and we're playing a World Cup at home. Go and win.
Yep. It is going to be a special day.
For the win.
And it is, just less than 24 hours, and we'll have our answer to see how Canada does. KJ, great stuff. Thank you so much. That's Christian Jack outside of Toronto Stadium, where we are hoping history will be made tomorrow. Let's take a look at that projected lineup. And so right on so many fronts there, where this is the best Canadian team we have seen in a long time. I'm going to try not to be glass half empty, Wheels, because, of course, but you do want to see Alphonso Davies in there, Moise Bombito, right? Like, there's the players that are still dealing with injury. However, the glass half full is Canada, for the first time, I think, at least in a very, very, very long time, has the depth.
They do, but you are missing those some really important pieces. And that's what's so interesting, is that on surface of it, you look at these names and they tick a lot of boxes.
Yep.
There's a lot that you like about each and every one of these players here. The injuries are a factor. Like, you cannot ignore them based on World Cup precedents in history. Mm-hmm. Going into a tournament with this many injured players or players that aren't match fit is a factor, as is the team's form coming into this game. KJ said it, and he's right. Bosnia-Herzegovina and Qatar are going to give Canada the ball and say, break us down. This group collectively has had a very difficult time doing that in recent fixtures when they've stepped up and played better competition. There's a lot of reason to like their chances tomorrow. And, of course, a win wouldn't surprise anyone. I think that is the outside expectation. Mm-hmm. But people that are in the weeds are saying, does this team need an extra 2 weeks? Is this first game of the World Cup coming at the best possible time to get the most out of this group? And for me, that answer is definitively no. That's why there's question marks all over this. And it's not being negative, it's being a realist. And the country, although fair enough, get excited. There's so much to be excited about. Expectations need to be appropriately set as well. Because if you think that this team's going to go in just because they're playing in Toronto tomorrow and walk over a very well-versed Bosnia side who went through a playoff, 2 you're in or you're out games to reach this point, in Wales, then against Italy, you're kidding yourselves. This is going to be a war. It's going to be a scrap, and we'll see who's up for it tomorrow.
Yeah, the opponent is going to be very tough. You are right about that. And Jesse Marsh loves to be able to pounce once depossessing the other team. But if you have possession, it is a completely different ball game. So sure, we can get into the nitty-gritty of that. But at the end of the day, this team is feeling ready. They're feeling good. And for Kyle Larin, we will show you how he relaxes and gets in the right headspace before a big game when we return to Bet365 for the win.
For the Win on One Soccer is presented by Bet365.
We were there for your first game together. The day you taught him the rules and the answer for every question. We've been there for the good times and a few moments we don't talk about. And now,
who won the most Canadian Classics?
it's a passion you can share. And we're just happy we could be there. 20 years, and we're still growing together.
The
always short. Not always. Yo! From here, she's not missing. You miss, you pay double. Easy.
Canada are really pressing here. Oh, what a move. That is a quality ball. Now they're running to the box.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Samsung.
This is Our House, presented by Samsung, and Kyle Larin has provided a lot of horsepower on the pitch for Canada over the years. You remember a couple years ago, a good battle between him and Jonathan David over who was going to be the top goal scorer on the men's side for the national team, and Canada's going to be expecting him to score quite a few goals as well here at this World Cup tournament. But how he gets in the proper frame of mind is through some equine therapy.
So it's the week of the World Cup. Yeah. It's 7 in the morning. And you're out here at the horse track.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to stay relaxed as possible, and coming here gives me that relaxation with horses, and I've been around them my whole life. My dad worked here for like 40 years, and when I was younger, I always came, and he took me here to work with him, and played soccer in the front. There's like a little area you can play. So I played a lot here when I was growing up.
What did just being around all this as a young kid kind of teach you? What did it help you with everything?
No, I think for horses are like athletes. I think it's just like discipline, and even the people who work here every day, they're here early in the morning and working on the horses. The same for us. They just teach you a lot of discipline and hard work, and it's all for one day, a game day, the race day. So I enjoy that. In the NFA?
Yeah. My name is Robert Borland, and I'm Kyle Larin's father. Kyle was a quiet kid. He was very quiet. He didn't go nowhere. I just take him to soccer practice every day, every evening. He just love it. He just love that. Love soccer thing.
What is that? He's not doing anything bad, just playing?
Yeah.
How often do you just, Carl, keeping tabs on what's going on around here?
Yeah, every day. I call my dad every day. Speak to Billy, the trainer, every day. Most of the time, I ask my dad to ask him what's going on. Like, I want to know everything. If they're injured, if they're going to race, how they're training. And then hopefully one day when I'm finished playing, I'm doing something in this.
I think it keeps them focused on being competitive, because this is all competitive. Like, you got to be able to compete. You're competing against the best, and it's a good feeling to be around, stress-free, in a sport that is so competitive around the world, just like the World Cup.
Kyle, it's been a long journey, man.
Yeah.
8 years ago, the World Cup bid gets awarded.
Yeah.
And Qatar, Snowbank Selly.
Yeah.
And now finally it's here.
Each day, getting closer to the game, it becomes more real, and but I try to keep calm and just think back where I came from. I grew up around, not here, but in Brampton, but I was here every day, and just to think I'm going to play in a home World Cup coming from where I came from, it's not impossible, but the chances are not high. So I think it's special. It's special for the fans, for my family, and for everyone around me.
These games, that's when you shine, you know. These big games, yeah. They never really give them a chance to really shine, you know. Yeah. So if this big game coming up, that's when it's at its best.
What do you think Friday's going to be like?
Basically a special moment, I think, for all of Canada, for the team, and just to take in the moment when it's time to play. I'm gonna perform and do what I have to do.
Thank you to Arash Madani for that. And yes, what a peaceful setting there for Kyle Larin. He'll be ready to go tomorrow. Bosnia-Herzegovina, that's who Canada will kick things off against. And then they'll make their way to Vancouver to face Qatar and then Switzerland in the final game of the group. Welcome back. Bet365 for the win. Joining us now, Andy Petrollo, Gareth Will, and Jordan Wilson. And we're going to head on over as well to Oliver Platt with this interview being powered by General Mills. Let's talk a little bit now about Canada's opponent and Bosnia. You were at their press conference today, and what were your biggest takeaways?
Yeah, the big news, Andy, is that Edin Dzeko, it sounds like all indications are he's going to play tomorrow. Dzeko was injured in the playoff win against Italy, hurt his shoulder. He hasn't started a game since then, but he did come off the bench a few times for Schalke, his club, towards the end of the season. Didn't play in any of the warm-up friendlies or either of the warm-up friendlies for Bosnia, but it seems like they've just been allowing him to rest and recover. He is 40 years old after all. He's trained the past couple of days. He's good to go. But Haris Tabakovic, who generally will either replace Dzeko or come on as a substitute for him, he's not available. The earliest he'll play is the second game against Switzerland. That is a blow, I think, for Bosnia, particularly given Dzeko might not be able to go 90 minutes at this stage. And then there's a little change on the periphery as well with Nidal Celik, a young defender, promising, but he was unlikely to start. He's out of the squad, and Ian Malic is in as a replacement for him.
You've been saying this all along, too, Wheels. This is a big team, just even physical, their size, what they had to do to even get here as well. You mentioned the playoff, Wales, Italy, both those, by the way, going to pens. So it was a fight to the end. This is a team that knows how to go the distance, and they are a big physical team.
Big physical at the back with some very good players. Just also an attack, Demirovic. We have the Bundesliga here on One Soccer, watching him week in, week out. Double digits in goals scored of the season on the season. Bajrak Terovic, the former New England Revolution player, now plays for Feyenoord. They have players playing at top clubs scattered across Europe. They might not be household names for a lot of our viewers, but they're a difficult team to play against. And it's against teams like this. I go back to the friendly against Australia in the fall, Jordan. Just a tough, physical team to play against. These are the types of teams that give Canada problems. Yep. So the matchup is a difficult one. Yes, it's not Italy, but there's going to be a lot of Bosnian fans in attendance as well. So there are all these external factors that come into play when you're assessing Canada's chances and what to actually expect come tomorrow.
A dangerous team is a team that can go and suffer well. That's Bosnia-Herzegovina. Like, they band together. They know that they might be against the ropes, but they're comfortable with that. Those teams where you feel like a Richie Larea gets in someone's face and they laugh and they're unbothered, that is what I'm worried about. It's mostly about the start, but the fact that this Bosnia-Herzegovina team has proven recently in the past months that they're okay, that they can handle anything, that they're banded together. So watch out. I just hope that Canada can start well, because if not, this Bosnia-Herzegovina team, once they smell blood, they'll capitalize.
Well, let's talk about the 12th man, because there's been so many reports here, Ollie, about how many Bosnian fans will actually be in attendance. Some are saying anywhere between 25 and 30,000. We know it's a big community. We know as well just traveling and making their way to Toronto for the game. And we know, I mean, rightfully so, Jesse Marsh wants the place to be painted red. But what kind of atmosphere are we expecting, and how many Bosnian fans can we expect?
Yeah, I think this stuff is all rubbish. I've been on the phone to the Bosnian embassy today, which I wasn't expecting to have to do pre-match before this game. They didn't get back to me, didn't pick up the phone, unfortunately. One Canadian journalist said he did get through by email, and they said they had nothing to do with this claim that's been made that's going around social media. According to the embassy, that there's going to be 30,000 Bosnians there tomorrow. I don't think it's true. We can't confirm it for sure. I asked FIFA, and they say they don't know who's bought tickets, right? It's not really possible for them outside of the supporters section specifically to know, which fans of which team have actually bought tickets. But it seemed a very far-fetched claim that stemmed from an Instagram account, a very small Instagram account, and then was kind of published more widely by a Bosnian footballer on Twitter or X. I don't think there's any truth to it, and it would be, it doesn't seem believable to me. It didn't pass the smell test, and it doesn't seem to be holding up to much scrutiny either.
Calling the embassy, that is reporting.
He's a professional.
I love it, Ali.
Yeah, you did say rubbish. Maybe that's why they didn't answer.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, that's for sure. What can Canada, or how does Canada match up, Ollie, here against Bosnia-Herzegovina? We've already mentioned, you know, the way that Bosnia had to go through that playoff run and how it wasn't easy. And now you look at this Canadian side and your thoughts on how you think they can actually match up.
Yeah, I agree with what a lot of the guys had to say just a moment ago in terms of them being a difficult team to play against. The coach, Sergei Barbara, has just said in the press conference, so we just came out of the press conference, so I haven't had time to verify this, but he said in their last 20 or so games, they've been the higher-ranked team only twice. That kind of tells you, I think, through Nations League, through UEFA qualifying, what kind of matches they've had that prepare them pretty well to play at a World Cup. And over the past couple of years, they've completely rebuilt this team. Barbares came in after they lost the Euro playoff for Euro 2024. They had a terrible 2024. They didn't win a game. The Nadir was a 7-0 loss to Germany. Since then, they've only lost twice in about 18 months. There's been a real turnaround. And as much as everyone looks to Edin Dzeko, who's one of the oldest players at this tournament, as obviously the star man and the greatest Bosnian player of all time, other than him, it's a very young squad. It's the fourth youngest squad at the tournament, despite the presence of Dzeko at 40 years old. So I think they're going to be fair. I think they're going to be difficult to play against, and they're really going to test Canada's ability to do something they've struggled with, which is to break down those deeper defenses, create chances, and score goals.
All right, well, Ollie, appreciate that. That's Oliver Platt outside Toronto Stadium.
Ollie.
Yeah, we'll see. Call him the embassy.
Not rubbish.
Rubbish.
And emails them. He didn't. Nobody picked up the phone, so he followed up with an email. So I can appreciate the dedication here. I want to get to
new phone. Who dis?
They're like, we don't know what you're talking about, by click. Let's take a look at a player to watch presented by TELUS. TELUS, proud partner with soccer organizations across Canada, helping to raise the game from grassroots to elite levels. Jordan, let's begin with your player to watch.
Yeah, teammate of Ismail Kone. I will say probably not a teammate of his for long, because Ismail Kone, after this World Cup, will go on to greener pastures. But Muha Removic is the guy in the back for Bosnia-Herzegovina that keeps things rolling. If he has a good game, if he could bully Kyle Larin, Oluwaseyi, Bosnia will feed off of that energy and continue to go forward. But you're looking at his frame, and he's very tall. I think a quick little interplay, I could see a Jay David or crosses from Buchanan or runs from Kone, and hopefully a hold-up play for Kyle Larin can make things difficult for Muharevic. But yeah, he's the guy for Bosnia to get things going in the back.
Mardenic, very good right back, plays for Benfica as well. Karim Alibegovic, he is a player to watch in this tournament in terms of teenage talent. He plays for Red Bull Salzburg, played over 40 games, double digits in goals. He just has 10 caps, but his presence in the team is growing. He is a future superstar, Andy. He plays off the left-hand side. He's being linked to clubs like Arsenal as of late, as he's looking at potentially a big move. He scored on his debut for Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. His fearlessness, the cutting inside, dribbling, playing creator, it's going to be a big test for Alistair Johnston if they end up one-on-one. He might not even get the start, but he'll certainly come off the bench and put him down as a potential difference maker. These tournaments have these teenage talents that just come to the forefront, especially nowadays where the ages are getting younger and younger. Yeah. He's going to be a handful for Canada tomorrow.
One of the biggest tests tomorrow for Canada will be on the wide, on the flank, and the 1v1s and the service that Bosnia-Herzegovina provide. That is what, when you look at whether it be Seager, Larea, Johnston, they have to make sure they deal with the first phase, second phase, third phase, because you're looking at a big Bosnia-Herzegovina team, but a lot of service, more than Canada is used to, and it's the first game in the heat where I feel like, it's crazy to say, but the pressure's on Canada, right? In terms of how to start a match and how to go about and be on the front foot.
It's not just the matchups for the fullbacks, Johnston and Larea. This is where a 20-year-old Luc de Fougerolles is going to have to communicate. Yeah, his positioning is going to be key against players like that. And same thing with Derek Cornelius. He's fit as a fiddle, but he's not necessarily match fit because he hasn't played club football since 2025. So these are some of the challenges that Canada has. The good news is, despite the shuffling of the back line multiple times, times. This team doesn't concede many goals. And that's the hope, again, tomorrow. Clean sheet, there's going to be a pathway to success.
Also, a ton of good news is we have a lot of footy right here on One Soccer, not just bringing you this show nightly and talking about the things that have been and will be and big stories in the World Cup, but we also have the TELUS Canadian Championship quarterfinal leg 1 that'll kick off on July 8th. So there's a look at the teams. Of course, the MLS side Vancouver Whitecaps, the defending champs, will take on Cavalry. And speaking of what was, yes, 2026 FIFA World Cup 23rd edition officially kicked off today. One of the host nations, Mexico, facing South Africa. Remember, it was a 1-1 draw back in 2010 when South Africa were the host between these two nations. We'll talk about that result when we return.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by General Mills. For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Turkey Farmers of Canada.
In Canada, our future stars don't simply show up on the world stage. They are built from the ground up, right here in the heart of our communities.
Come on. Oh, lovely through ball there, Isaiah Johnston! Goal for Halifax!
From a childhood dream to the national team.
Jacob Schaffelberg! Yes! He's done it! Canada! On top of the footballing world!
We are Canada, driven by Volkswagen.
And for Canada, BMO.
After 20 years of supporting the game, we're actually going to play in one. Let's go! So what do you need? Precision striker, rock-solid left back?
We need a coin.
For the coin toss? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I get it. Can I at least flip it? Heads or tails? I'll do that. We're on TV right now. Yeah.
Hey neighbor, meet Walmart Plus, the new membership that does delivery differently. I'm talking unlimited free same-day delivery, free shipping, and no order minimum. And it comes with a Crave subscription too. Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1. Try it free for 30 days. Walmart Plus.
For the Win on One Soccer is presented by bet365.
Here's a look inside Canada Soccer House in Vancouver today. It was Mexico Day. The fans watching and cheering their team on. If you recall, 8 straight World Cups where Mexico made it to the round of 16. 2022 group stage is where they were eliminated, so they're looking to bounce back. And it's been a great start for them, as this segment is brought to you by Jarritos. They kicked things off today against South Africa. It was, I could feel it through the TV set. It was just an incredible atmosphere, as it always is when you're watching a match. Yeah, in Mexico. Absolutely great. This ended up being a 2-0 final, but here's a fun little fact for you. The 2022 World Cup saw a total of 4 red cards. This game alone saw 3 red cards.
Great start,
2
baby.
for South Africa.
Game's gone. Game's gone.
1 for Mexico. The Mexicans starting things off here in the 9th minute. Julian Quiñones gets them on the board. Yaya Sitola in the 50th minute for South Africa got that first red card. And Raul Jimenez, it was great to see him get a goal, his first ever at the World Cup, to put Mexico up 2-0. Remember, 5 years ago, he fractured his skull in a Premier League game. So what an incredible comeback. Hence why he also, career is life. I mean, it was very frightening, and that's why he wears that headpiece. What did you make of this, Gareth?
Well, the result doesn't surprise whatsoever. Mexico's on a wonderful run of form with Javier Aguirre back as manager for his 3rd time. South Africa's not a very good team. And I think that at this World Cup, based upon it's a 48-team competition, there's going to be games like this that are relatively one-sided. The first sending off just continued descending in that trajectory. Mexico were the better team by a country mile. The two sendings off at the end of the game, neither one of them were a red for me. Like, it is so soft. This is the World Cup. Yeah. The tackle by Montez on Mexico, reckless, yes. Worthy of a sending off, no. And then if you do a swim move in soccer and you actually catch someone, apparently that's a sending off now. I didn't like that element of the game. But just get ready. There's going to be some dog games, Jordan, just based upon a vastly superior team, especially Mexico playing at the Azteca at home. We're going to see games like this. Not everything's going to be back and forth football. The third red card, Wheels is so right. It's a yellow at most. And as much as we joke all the time, is it a yellow, is it a red? He's right about that one. I thought he was hard done by, so we can agree for sure. As much as Mexico is the favorites in this one, I still expected more from South Africa in the first game. I understand Mexico's a far superior side, but just a little bit more fight, a little bit more organization from the beginning. I just didn't see that from South Africa. And the last thing that I'll say is that, Wheels, I feel like you said it on For the Win last time, but watch out for this Mexican side, man. We've said it on match night. We've talked about them in the CONCACAF region as a team that could do damage. I think about their pathway. I think about, again, they're the only team to have played. But I really like them, and I think they could go far this tournament. 2 years ago, they were a dumpster fire. Like, internally, externally. Everything. Aguirre's come in. He hasn't played their best football. Liga MX let the players that play domestically away from their club sides at the end of the season a month early to prepare for this World Cup. They are taking this seriously. They're fit. They're firing at the right time. And timing is everything. Look out for Mexico.
Well, when you don't make it out of the group, that's a national travesty at the last World Cup. So they're definitely taking this very seriously. So we know Mexico has kicked things off. Canada will kick things off tomorrow, 3 p.m. The other host country, the United States, will get things started tomorrow night against Paraguay. Defender Joe Scally ready to put the spotlight on football. Pochettino, their manager, just ready to get going.
I think we feel really good. We are so excited to be here, so excited to see so close the competition, start the World Cup. Yes, I think we are ready. Was really good the last 2 weeks, working 2 great games against Senegal and Germany. I think we arrived in a very good moment.
We're a country, of course, that loves basketball and American football, and it's tough to catch them. I think, you know, with the commercials and all the media that's covering those sports, of course it's tough to get. I think we're very close. Bring more excitement to that. I think you even see it in the send-off game against Germany. You know, we had a full stadium. I think it was awesome national anthem and everything that kind of happened in that game. I thought it was really cool to see the fans involved. So I think it's definitely growing. The World Cup's just going to help boost that.
Well, as we know in the world of sport, what gets fans paying attention is when you win and you do well. And for the Americans, they have made it to the round of 16 at the last 2 World Cups. What are their chances, do you feel, this time around?
Oof. I say woof because, like, going into this tournament, the Mopo saga with Pochettino, whether he can get the most out of this group, it became larger than life and a massive distraction. And this is a team that doesn't handle distractions very well. Christian Pulisic and company, there's relatively thin skin, yet they're being treated like heroes to start this tournament. And American football is galvanized by those heroic stories. They failed so miserably at Copa America that it can't get any worse, right? Like, you feel like they did have a couple good results coming into this World Cup, and some genuine momentum is in their favor. And on top of all that, they have a relatively straightforward group, with Turkey being the best team.
It's funny that you say that, Wheels, because I feel like they're skating on the thinnest ice possible.
Yeah,
and if you don't go and start this tournament and do well, that you're co-hosting, that majority of these games are in the U.S. as well, and you're not going to go to the round of 16 and beyond, watch out. Their media's not like us. We're very nice. Yeah. We're very uplifting, and players, go and be your best. They don't go far in this tournament at home on American soil.
They'll get skewered.
Finished.
Get crushed.
As they did when they didn't qualify in 2018.
Finished.
I mean, it was so bad, considering, again, prior to that, they had done round of 16 quarterfinals. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot that is expected of them, and they can be a lot nastier over there. Canada, however, a lot is expected of them, but we'll see how they do tomorrow. We'll have Wheeler's picks next.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by General Mills. For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Turkey Farmers of Canada.
Canada are really pressing here. Oh, what a move. That is a quality ball. Now the run into the box.
Hey neighbor, meet Walmart Plus, the new membership that does delivery differently. I'm talking unlimited free same-day delivery, free shipping, and no order minimum. And it comes with a Crave subscription too. Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1. Try it free for 30 days. Walmart Plus.
We were there for your first game together. The day you taught him the rules and the answer for every question. We've been there for the good times and a few moments we don't talk about. And now,
Who won the most Canadian Classics?
it's a passion you can share. And we're just happy we could be there. 20 years, and we're still growing. Together.
Always short. Not always. Yo! From here? She's not missing. You miss, you pay double. Easy.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Samsung.
Parlay of the day, Wheeler's Games. How many points
on,
would
Wheeler.
you bet
Go
Canada
on, Wheeler.
finishes with in the group?
I just want to say I'm 1 for 1 thus far through the first day of the
Congratulations.
tournament.
Bow out.
Hey, all I do is win, no matter what.
Oh, you did that?
So let's go.
On the opening day?
My boys' names win. So let's pick some winners here. Bosnia +1 on the handicap. That means if Bosnia lose by a goal, it's a push and you get your stake back. I think the most likely outcome in this game is a draw, so that would make that a winner. Under 2.5 goals is, well, I'm going to call it a mortal lock, which are very famous last words for a bettor. Both teams are under teams. Canada can't score in open play. The statistics bear it just in terms of like where they are. Canada's played to under 2.5 goals in 9 of their last 10. Bosnia in 5 of 5. And then less than 10 corners. Unders are very difficult to watch because typically people like to cheer for overs so they can see more. But in terms of corner kicks, Canada in their games has been under 10.5 corner kicks in 8 of their last 10. Bosnia under in 8 of 8.
Okay.
All that plus 293. I'll be making that play.
Thank you. How many points do you think Canada will finish with?
I'm looking at the markets, courtesy of our friends at bet365. I think that the best return could be at plus 700 for Canada to finish on 3 points, which would mean that they go on and either draw all 3 games or go on and win 1. Just the difference between plus 300 at 4 points and plus 700 at 3 points, that's kind of where I think the smart money would go.
Okay. Group B, how do you think they're going to finish at the end of the group stage?
That one, if I'm going to bet on them to finish with 3 points, then it would be Canada in 3rd place. So if you're going to bet Switzerland first, Canada second, it plays at plus 200. I think there's a little bit more juice if you back Switzerland, Bosnia, and Canada in that order, and all of them advance. I also recommend take Qatar under points for the group stage. Pick them to pick up 0, and you can get that at plus money as well.
This is what drives me nuts. I don't make decisions based on my head. I make decisions based on my heart, and that could get me on trouble.
And my tummy. Heart and tummy.
He's got to go with a number. So Qatar on 0 points. I think that is the safest bet.
So you're telling the people at home the smartest bet, Canada finishing third. No, we can't do this. It has to be second.
No, but that's just based upon
on the numbers.
Market. Yes. It's not
I couldn't even do
upon what I would predict.
No, for sure
But
not.
if you're going to chase the market and most likely outcomes, that's where you find the most value.
Don't do that.
I still think that Canada will finish second in this group.
Nice.
Okay, so talk to me with your heart, Jordan. And, I mean, this is it. 2018, it gets announced. We've been talking about this for years. We were excited a month ago. We were excited a week ago. And now we're less than 24 hours
4 points feels good. 6 points, obviously, by tomorrow, because that's what I want to lock in with Bosnia-Herzegovina. If they can win and get 3, that one is ideal, right? And then we can talk and dream about maybe 7 or 9, yeah, whatever. But those 6, that for me is like that's the ace score right there, and I feel like they could do it. But 4 for me in this group, with Qatar being the worst team in it in the World Cup, one of the worst teams, the 3 should be a lock. So then a draw.
I don't want to talk
for me.
numbers anymore. I want to know who's wearing their favorite socks, who's wearing a favorite T-shirt tomorrow. What's going on? How are you watching this game?
What I hope is if you're on the East Coast, you leave work at noon and have a nice afternoon watch.
No work tomorrow.
And on the West Coast of this country, no work whatsoever. You're taking Friday off, going into the weekend, coast to coast to coast, people rallying around the flag and this team and what's going to be a historic moment. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
It really, really is. We're looking forward to it. We've been talking about it for years, literally, and now it has arrived tomorrow. And here's the thing. The last time North America has hosted a men's World Cup, you go back to 1994, the United States, and so much has changed when it comes to the sport, especially here on Canadian soil. It hasn't been an easy road, but the path has led to this incredible moment. We leave you tonight with this look back at the journey with Stephen Brunt.
When fans from around the globe arrived in the United States for the World Cup in 1994, they were strangers in a strange land. Football meant something else entirely then and there. Every professional soccer league had failed, including the one that featured Pele and Beckenbauer and Best. I don't believe this more. The prevailing wisdom was that Americans would never really get soccer because it was foreign, because they hadn't grown up with it, because there wasn't enough scoring. What followed was a watershed moment, though it took a few years for that reality to fully sink in. A seed had been planted, and a foundation had been laid. And now, here we are, 32 years later, getting ready for what will be a watershed of a different kind. Soccer has exploded in North America in the intervening years. Not just kid participation, but the evolution of a passionate and distinct culture, including a thriving professional league where the greatest player on earth currently plies his trade. Now Messi's in it now! Soccer is now part of the mainstream sports conversation, right there beside the other football and baseball and basketball and hockey. In 1994, we were interested bystanders. In 2026, Canada will be the story. The World Cup arrives in a country primed and ready for the moment, though not so long ago, that sure didn't seem to be the case. When it was first suggested that we could play host, the near universal response was derisive laughter. On the international stage, we weren't even relevant enough to be also-rans. We hadn't qualified since 1986. We didn't have our own professional league. We were minnows. But there were believers who kept the faith and won our place as co-hosts.
Canada, Mexico, and USA have been selected to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
We got the Canadian Premier League. We qualified for the World Cup on merit in 2022.
Canada is going to the World Cup!
And now, the biggest sporting event in our country's history is about to kick off, with hopes and expectations for our national team higher than they've ever been.
It's Tanya O'Shea for Nelson!
There are forces about to be unleashed that will be unlike anything Canada has experienced before. A nation rallying around the flag and behind a team that speaks to who we are in the 21st century, while the entire planet looks on. Yes, we have hosted the Olympics. And yes, there have been many hockey tournaments that became cultural signposts. But this is the world's game. It's passion. And this is the moment when we show the world that it's our game too.